Gundam.tk presents High Grade Extreme Gundam. Hey again everybody, it's Robert184, 2 R2Bs from YouTube and Gundam.tk, and yes, in the arcade I hated him, but in model form, let's see if he won't be so bad. I'm talking about the High Grade 1/144th Extreme Gundam. All the parts are put together, don't forget you can check out their review, but now let's check out the MS. All put together, you're going to have one of the most colorful of the basic Gundams. I'm talking about he's got the regular Gundam color scheme, there's just a lot more blue, and who can forget all those clear blue parts which are looking good all over the place. Some of the little details, like the fact that you're going to have it in the back of the legs and the back of the shoulders, plus on the sides of the forearms, unexpected, and I think it really adds to something, but to see 3 pieces there on the legs, all those colors in the chest, and the blue on the head, on the ears part, I didn't think I'd like the way they looked, but it actually all adds to a very pleasant impression, especially thanks to that blue part in the middle. For a close-up of the upper body, here we've got the backpack attached on, and you've got the 2 beam sabers in there. Combine them with the fact that you've got that sort of head back there hidden, and then you can reveal it if you want to cheat a little bit. But I'm not sure how I like it from the front, because it just looks a little bit cluttered with the beam sabers and these yellow parts here from the back V-fin showing through. This guy certainly looks like he's got all the cardinal compass points pretty much covered except off to the side. But then again, you add in the blue, and it's certainly very unique looking, you gotta give it that. For mobility, the lower body is going to be able to bring the legs up forward. You'll notice that the skirts don't get in the way, and they don't move. Off to the side, it's not going to move very much, that front skirt, and because it's just on a solid ball joint there, you're not going to get much, but the hips do rotate back and forth, so that's a plus. The knees are going to bend 90 there, and then they're going to bend up like that. So pretty much 90, not much more, and the ankles are going to have good mobility, and that ankle armor is going to move all over the place. There's just something about this guy that makes ridiculous poses seem to work for some reason. The upper body is going to give you a full rotation, I suppose you could go all the way around, and the shoulders are going to pop out on that gray polycap which is on the inside. They'll give you a rotate, and if you reach across, you could actually have it touch the other arm if you don't mind him looking like he's covering his face in shame or to hide the fact that he's out in public. In terms of the shoulders, that's going to rotate there. The arm is going to give you a 135 or a little bit more. The wrists are going to move, but they're just on ball joints, so pretty much solid, high-grade engineering overall. Here he is next to one of the few Gundams whose power he did not copy because the H1, as far as we know, is not in Extreme Versus yet. But with the V-fins, the head height is not too dissimilar, although the Extreme has a slight edge, but with the V-fins, he's going to take the cake for height. Lined up with the Freedom Gundam, you still get the effect that the Freedom Gundam is a little bit skinnier, although because you add on the wider shoulders and the railguns on his hips, he's going to look a lot bigger. Still, the height advantage goes to the Extreme, unless you're counting that incredible wingspan there. Finally, somebody who the Extreme Gundam borrowed his powers from. Yes, it's the Master Gundam HGFC, quite a bit shorter than an 18-meter Gundam, as he should be, although the high grade is a little bit oversized. Still, they do look pretty cool next to each other with their respective clear parts. Putting the guitar case / shield on involves just taking off this clear blue part and plugging in that gray one before putting this part into the hand, but you can guess that this is an awful lot of plastic and pretty heavy for this arm and its weak ball joint to support. Who couldn't love, though, a custom manipulator, which means this beam rifle, which has a notch in here, is going to fit in and have the trigger finger, and hopefully you're not going to have any issues with this one holding it up. Worth noting is the angle that the hand attaches to. If you actually plug in that part straight, it's going to sit out at an angle like this, and that's going to allow this butt end of the guitar here to fit under the elbow and hopefully stick in hand without getting in the way too much despite its big size. So armed up, what do you think? I think that shield is very oversized. I'm glad they went with at least the multicolors in there, and the fact that you've got that little bit of blue showing is looking good. The inside looks awfully dull and blue, but that guitar does look a little bit ridiculous, and it's going to prove to be quite unwieldy, it looks like. If you move the shoulder out, you can expect stuff like that, and if you push it in even to the full extent, you can still expect it to collapse a little bit. It's not all bad though, because you can get the shield to stay in place, and yes, he can stare down the barrel of the beam rifle, and it doesn't look too ridiculous. Well, no, I'm just trying to sell you on that. Really, it is ridiculous. There's no other way to put it. This isn't a pose you would pull off with most Gundams, although for some reason the Extreme Gundam just seems to want to take it in this kind of direction. Replace the guitar with the beam saber, which I wanted to complain about, of course, just being blue, but believe it or not, the blue actually looks good just because you've got so much blue over there on the shield that it somehow works, although a good paint job would certainly make it work a lot better. The guitar pleasantly surprised me here because you can bend the handle up, and with the hand gripping it like that, and you've got the other hand in there, which is usually used for dynamic aerial poses. Instead, you can actually have him hold the guitar like a guitar or a beam rifle, I suppose, if he's going off to war, but this guy is certainly going to stand out next to any other Gundam. I wonder if he ever asked anybody if holding his gun sideways, yes, like that, is going to make him look any cooler. Very simple connection point there, similar to the 00 kits if you want to put them up on an action base. And despite some of my initial misgivings, you could put the shield in there, although you're going to have the weight issues. You can fix the legs a little bit better than this, but yes, he looks cheesy and silly, but it doesn't look half bad. Ultimately though, for me, this pose was going to be the one that decides how much I wanted this kit. It looks pretty good on the box, although you'll notice that they cheat a little bit by not showing off the legs. You've just got a regular manipulator there, the open one, and if you're not familiar with the game, Gundam Extreme versus, yes, when you face off with this guy, first you'll meet him in his inner frame, and then you'll see him do this before he jumps into a larger body and proceeds to beat you down. It would be a lot nicer though if you had a better set of legs there, and especially a set of hip joints. I'm thinking of similar to HG Age 1. Just you could have done a lot more with those legs, and especially when you see something like the HGFC Noble, you can get those legs one behind each other. In this one, they're more or less just going to hang down awkwardly without giving you too many dynamic posing options. So that'll wrap up my look at the mobile suit mode, and it's not that bad. However, there are some bad things, and you'll hear them all, good and bad, in the final verdict so that you can make a call as to whether you want to pick up this kit or not. And of course, I'd love to hear from you right now with a comment down below about the mobile suit. What do you think of the looks, the posing, and everything else? Anyway, everybody, Robert184, gundam.tk, please hit like and subscribe if you don't want to miss any other videos. And stay tuned for lots more from Gundam Age, Master Grades, Leads, and everything in between. Not to mention this crazy old game, Gundam Extreme Versus. Anyway, everybody, see you next time. Bye. Do you know there was a time where you were almost bought just so you could have a box dropped on you? Yes, you were that hated in the arcade.